Hey dudes, and welcome back to the Bantz. As always, I am your host, the Bantz, and we've made it to the end of another week. So you know what that means? It's time for our second What's Happening in Fashion for the week. So let's just get right into it. And also guys, just a quick heads up, we did just put out the What's Happening in Fashion Best of the Month of May on Wednesday. So if you didn't get a chance to see that, I will link that down below as well too. So with that said, let's just get right into it. And first up, of course, we have our headlines for the day. And in our first headline of the day, publishers WWD and Rizzoli came together to do a commemorative book celebrating 50 years of Ralph Lauren. Now, obviously, Ralph is a legend. He by no means needs any type of introduction. But even so, for some of us who are on a little bit of the younger side of fashion, who might not have been able to see some of his earlier collections or see most of his journey as a whole, I think this book will act as a great overview for us. And look, this book covers 50 years. 50 years of fashion behind one of America's greatest designers. And I mean, how can you not be interested in that? So if you are a fan of fashion history, especially American fashion history, or maybe you're just a fan of Americana, or hell, maybe you're just a fan of Ralph himself, either way, I definitely look into getting this book as it is currently available now. Then in our second headline of the day, we are going to just quickly cover the Kids See Ghost merch as well as the Nas merch, because after this I really don't want to talk about it anymore. And yes, I know that I talked about the Ye release party merch separately, but the only reason why I was planning to talk about all three of these separately was because I was expecting them to all be different, not the exact same fucking thing. I mean, really, just fucking look at the Kids See Ghost merch. It is literally the exact same thing as the Ye merch, down to placements, down to graphics. The only difference is that you're getting a Murakami graphic here as opposed to whatever fucking stupid photo Kanye took before. And even if the Nas stuff does in fact feel much different and there is a lot more pieces there, it's still fairly under-designed, very lazy, and just feels like there wasn't a lot of effort put into it. But even with all that said, do you know what by far the most bullshit thing about these three collections are? It's the pricing. I mean, let's look back at the Nas line here. Yes, it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen, but if you are a Nas fan, I could still see you picking it up. And that's not a problem because every piece here is between $30 and $60. But on the other hand, if you want to buy any of the Ye merch, or if you want to buy any of the Kids See Ghost merch, prices don't even start until $65 and go up to $150. Now what kind of stupid fucking bullshit is that? And don't even start with that sorry ass excuse of, oh, but with the Kids See Ghost you're paying for a Murakami print. No, you're fucking not, because it's the same price as the Ye merch, and God fucking knows Kanye is by no means a professional photographer. So yeah, if you do want to go pick up some Nas merch, even if it's not the greatest thing in the world, go for it, and if you want to waste your money, then go check out the other two merch lines as well. Okay, now with our headlines done, let's move into our art section for the day. And first up, we did just get some new images of some of the new art in the Palms Casino and Resort in Las Vegas. And yes, I know I already did talk about this, but there are some new images here. So if you're interested in seeing a little bit more of the new art that is there, I definitely check this out. Then it was announced that next month Banksy would be having a new exhibit in London detailing some more of his older work, specifically works from 2002 to 2008, and they're going to be showing off a bunch of different prints and stencils and paintings and things like that. So definitely be on on the lookout for some new photos of that coming soon. And lastly, Amir Fallahs showed off some of his newest paintings, and honestly, I just love these. If you are a fan of a dichotomy of some very vibrant colors mixed in with just a myriad of different patterns, then definitely check these out. You're sure to enjoy them. Alright, so now moving back into fashion, the North Face just showed off their newest Kumbu collection, and honestly, I am just so disappointed in this. Now, for those of you unaware, Kumbu is a region in Nepal that just happens to slide right up against Mount Everest. But aside from that, what it's really renowned for, especially in the photography community, is being one of the few places where you can get some really nice photos of their Buddhist prayer flags, which happen to be strung up everywhere. And as you may have guessed, many of the pieces in this collection are in fact inspired by these prayer flags specifically. Now, I know what you're thinking. How exactly are these pieces inspired by the prayer flags? Did they take some images or some graphics that are normally on the flags and screen them on the pieces? Or maybe they took some of the wording, some of the text, and embroidered that on the pieces instead? And to that, I say, nope. In fact, I wish it was that interesting. No, the way that these pieces are inspired by these prayer flags is by their colors. Yes, by the red, yellow, green, white, and blue colors of these flags. Yes, I absolutely wish I was joking. So what we actually have here is just another North Face collection that is just really emphasized on color pop. Now I'm sure you can see why I'm so disappointed. And I mean, I get it, especially after the Pharrell Holy Collection controversy. I'm sure the North Face didn't really want to offend anybody with this collection. But then, if that's the case, why even attempt to do a collection like this at all? So to the North Face, I wish I could call this a good try, but really, this is just bullshit. Then Bape and artist Hebru Brantley showed off their newest collaboration, and honestly, I think it's pretty fun. There's a decent amount of pieces in this collection and a lot of color to go along with it. All the art done by Hebru, I think, is very nice, very clean, and very playful, which is of course something that Bape always does very well. And then there's the goggle shark hoodies. Well, at the very least, even for as horrific as they are, you at least have to give them credit for the creativity here. But the thing that really irks me about this collection is, why wasn't this included in the 25th anniversary pack? I mean, sure, it's definitely not the greatest thing that Bape has ever done by a long shot, but even so, it's a hell of a lot better than anything in that 25th anniversary collection. But hey, I guess that's just Bape being Bape for you, I guess. Then Bape showed off their newest artist collaboration, this time with graffiti artist McGee, and I thought it was alright. The more simple graphics here are very clean, very well done, as Uniqlo usually does best. And then there are some really crazy, really eye-gouging patterns here as well too, that of course Barry is super well known for. Epileptics definitely need not apply. And once again, and I know I sound so much like a broken record when it comes to this with Uniqlo, but really, how can you beat a $15 artist shirt? So if you are a fan of graffiti or maybe streetwear in general, definitely check this out. They are available now. Then brand Kapital showed off their newest lookbook, and obviously it's fantastic. Now, for as much as I tend to just absolutely rave about Kapital for really everything they do, for their clothing, for their styles, for their lookbooks, I do have to personally admit that if you are new to the brand and haven't seen a lot of the pieces before, then going off the lookbook can be a little bit aggravating because they don't really show off a lot of the details a lot of the time. But with this lookbook here, everything is front and center. If you've never really had a chance to look at Kapital up close, but have still been very interested in the brand, definitely give this lookbook an eyeful. You definitely get a chance to see really just how detailed some of their pieces can be, how quirky some of their pieces can be, and really how much effort they put into just making these crazy designs out of some really fantastic fabrics. And sure, a lot of it might not necessarily be wearable to you or I, especially the manji stuff. That's the Japanese term for what is more popularly known as a swastika. But even so, from a just design aspect, inspiration aspect, you can't help but not just look at this collection and be wowed. So for any fans out there of Americana, especially Japanese Americana, or even what I would consider some avant-garde pieces, especially on the more colorful side, definitely check this out. Really amazing stuff. Okay, and finally, let's move on to our articles for the day. And first up, Hedels did a very nice introduction to bandanas, but not in the way that you would think. They basically show off some different types of bandanas that are used around the world in many different cultures. And honestly, I think it's a very fantastic, eye-opening article and definitely worth a look. Then Grailed put out a nice little article on the evolution of modern workwear, kind of showing some of the branches of fashion that workwear has seeped into, starting off, of course, with just the classic reproduction of workwear pieces, going as far as going to now runway and how it's evolved from there. So really interesting article, especially if you're a fan of workwear. I definitely check this out. And lastly, High Snobiety put out a very in-depth article on the history of Vans shoes. And I know I've talked about other articles detailing the history of Vans shoes before, but none as in-depth as this. So if you've held on till now and definitely want to know more about the history of the skate shoe company, I definitely read this one. Alright guys, and with that we come to the end of our second and final What's Happening in Fashion for the week. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And as always, if you want to read some of the articles I talked about today or look at some more of the photos I wasn't able to include, I've linked everything I talked about in the description down below. And if you are new to the channel, then welcome. We do these What's Happening in Fashion videos twice a week, every Monday and Friday, plus another occasional video here and there. So if you are a fan and want to see more, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, if you just have any questions or comments, concerns, or even just want to talk fashion in general, feel free to hit me up in the comments down below. I am always willing to talk fashion. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching these videos and supporting this channel. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and as always, until next time.